I've been living in an Econo Lodge nearby for 77 of the last 90 days. I flew in June into Des Moines, right after my daughter, whose brain cancer had come back, and it finally went into remission, and she was in a safe harbor. I came here to announce my candidacy for President of the United States of America. And it was about the time the corn had begun to sprout, and it was knee-high by the 4th of July. And last week, we had a harvest moon. So I decided it was time, maybe I could tell you what I learned from Iowans in those 77 days I went around this state and came back at night to an Econo Lodge. We actually did about 235 events, including press engagements. Included in those were 13 parades, where I shook over 30,000 hands. Because I learned in Iowa, parades are pretty special, as a woman taught me when I called her and said, "How many do you expect on the route?" And she said, "Well, we haven't had a parade for about 4 weeks, so we expect extra to be there." But we also passed out about 110,000 brochures into willing hands and underneath unwilling car windshield wipers. You might have even gotten one as you walked out of Hy-Vee. But over 17,000 miles I traveled throughout this state since late June. That's like going across America about 6 times. I learned the history about Iowa. Man, I saw where John Lewis was born, that great labor leader who put unions on the map in the 30s, the 40s, and the 50s. I saw where Radar Riley came from, that wonderful man in MASH who taught us the folly of war. And I met and learned that great characteristic through people of Iowans. Some call it Iowa nice. Nah, it's a lot more than that. There is a respect for others wherever I went around this state. It didn't matter whether there's a woman in a laundromat or whether there's a Republican in a parade. There was respect for others. And you may just call it Iowa nice, but it's a lot more than that. It's a lesson to the capital of this nation. But I saw it most particularly in the respect they had for veterans. When you go up to Waterloo and you see that wonderful museum to the 5 brothers, the 5 Sullivan brothers. Even in the Navy today, we have a ship named after those Iowans. Those 5 men who lost their life simultaneously in World War II on the same Navy ship, fighting nearby with my father in that Second World War. And then the Econo Lodge that I live on, that road named for Merle Hay, the very first American who was killed in World War I, an Iowan. And I saw it every day when I ran into a parade and went back and forth and shook hands, and they had a brochure with my picture on it. And as I ran up to them, inevitably, 1 out of 4 Iowans would look up and shake my hand or even stand up and say, "Thank you for your service."